12 years ago, Drumline captivated audience with its depiction of marching band culture at an HBCU. Now, this classic film is passing the baton to the next generation. Let's take a look.
You play when we say you play. You got it?
I have to believe that I belong here.
Work ethic, drive, teamwork. I learned all of that right here.
You're the real deal out there on that field.
The A&T Southern State rivalry goes back years. A&T! And we will show that A&T can reign supreme.
I've been having this vision. I've been having this vision. Burn them up, burn them up.
How long has it been since we played together?
12 years.
And you still got it? Yeah, we can still do that.
We can still do that.
Yes. I went to Howard, so I feel that in my spirit. Feel it. Here to discuss Drumline, a new beat, stars Alexandra Shipp, Jordan Calloway, and Latoya Luckett. Welcome to Arise, guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having us.
Come on, drum roll, come on.
Where the sticks at? Where the sticks at?
All right, so just to be clear, this is not a sequel of Drumline. This is a separate, total movie altogether.
Exactly.
And it has a female protagonist. Tell us why a female protagonist and why you all wanted the new version of this.
Well, it wasn't necessarily us as it was Nick Cannon and the producers over at VH1. They wanted to bring back that Drumline feel. You know, it was 12 years ago. They waited a little bit, and they wanted to bring it back, but they wanted to do something different. They wanted to bring a new beat into it. You know what I mean? And what better way than to show a girl who is trying to be the first female section leader on her line, especially at an HBCU college, and especially when a marching band is a man's world.
Right. I mean, to add on to that, it's like you have to look at this generation now, and if we want to pull from an archetype, which is Drumline, the first one, what better way to bring it back, like you said, with a leading lady that can also empower other women to go ahead and rise up, you know, to be an example, to go ahead and challenge, break down those barriers, and Alex did a phenomenal job.
All right. Now, I know. Thank you. I'm with her. Now, I have to ask, because I did go to an HBCU, and so it's such a big part of the culture, right? Now, why do you feel like the Drumline and this whole aspect of the culture, Latoya, why do you feel like this resonates so much with audiences?
Well, one, I'm from Texas. So, you know, being from the South, marching bands are a huge thing with Labor Day Classic, Bayou Classic. And I was blessed, even though I was working at such a young age, my mom allowed me to go to these, you know, I had to go. My brother was on the drum line. And so it's a thing for us. A lot of people go to the games just for halftime. We go to watch the football. But at the same time, when it comes to halftime, we get serious. Because it's the feeling, it's the energy on the field, which that's what I loved about the first one. You actually felt them being competitive. You felt that just through the screen. And I think you'll get the same thing with watching Drumline and New Beat. It's a great film, and I feel like it's a family film. Everybody can relate to it. Everybody has a character in the movie that they'll probably be able to relate to.
Well, tell us about your characters.
Okay, yeah. Well, I played, since we're over here, I played Dean Nia Phillips, and she's the dean of A&T. And she also plays, I also played love interest to Leonard's character. Y'all might know him as Iceman from the first one. And I also play love interest to D-Ray, so you gotta kind of figure out. It's a little situation.
A little drama in there. A little drama.
Saucy Dean, okay. You know how we do.
Okay,
I play Jayven Lapierre, and I am the opposite and love interest of Alex's character. And my character, he is coming from a background where he has a lot of deep and dark shadows. He's misunderstood, he builds up a lot of walls. And like you were saying, many of the different characters in this film, we all have our different identities. And so for myself as Jayven, I'm trying to find that identity. And I have Miss Raymond over here that helps me find that as well. So.
Oh, I help him find it.
Whoa, we still talking about music?
Drumline, a new beat.
Right.
And you're trying to be the first female section leader.
Yes. I played Danielle Raymond, who is from Brooklyn, and her parents are doctors and lawyers and want her to go to school for something practical other than music. And for Danny, it's like, what's more practical than music? It's what she's always loved. And so She goes to Atlanta A&T, and she wants to be the first female section leader. And some rude stuff happens. Look, I felt like playing Danny. Everyone was always yelling at Danny. Like, they didn't want her to be on the line. They did not want her to be on the line. And I was like,
So unwanted.
yeah. And I was like, guys, like every scene, either Ty, who plays Armandi, or Jeff, or even Jordan, they'd all be like, we don't want you on the line. And then they'd call cut, and they'd be like, we're so sorry. And I'm like, you guys are so mean to me. Like, all I want to do is play the drums.
I think I was the only one that was nice to you. in the
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Probably.
Scott,
Yeah.
Leon,
Yeah.
her friends,
Yeah.
Jasmine. Yeah. She had some.
I mean, I
That's
had
okay, you had to
some-
toughen up.
I know.
Exactly.
Well, have any of you ever actually been in a marching band?
No, I always wanted to be a majorette. That was my thing. And like I said, my brother was on the drum line, and he made it his duty to beat on every piece of furniture in the household. So it's so awesome. And like I said before, I think everybody's going to enjoy this film, especially people that attended HBCUs, who are currently attending HBCUs. It's a part of the culture.
It's a culture.
It's the thing.
Now, will we see members of actual HBCU bands in the film?
Yes,
Yes,
you will.
definitely.
Yes, you will. We
Yes.
had live auditions, and that's what really blew all of us away. Was we saw people that came from Florida, that came from New Orleans, that came all over from the States, and they were just like, I want this. And what this really did for all of us is it reminded us, when I was 12 years old watching the movie, I remember the impact that it had on me. I didn't end up being a band member, but I did go back home and I was beating on everything as well. And the beautiful thing about that is that you can see how this project will empower and impact the generation to come now, and what it might open up that opportunity for them as well. So that's another reason why we got that little chip on our shoulders. For we wanted to make sure it did well.
There was actually a guy that was kind of like an extra in the first Drumline, and he was like, I'm gonna do it. If they make another one, I want to be a part of it. And he was, and he's now in this film. So just from watching and being inspired, I guess he had a nice long talk with God or something. But he's in this film, and that inspired me. I was like, see how you call things into existence?
Marcus Joyner, my hands.
Nick Cannon also makes a cameo in this film, reprising his role, and executive produces it. What was he like to work with, and he give you guys any advice?
Well, he was great. I had a few scenes with him, and he was a joy to be around. He, of course, was funny, keeping everybody laughing, but at the same time, because he was he's one of the producers on the film, he was about his business. So he would sit in the chair, watch the monitors, go over the scripts, and he was. We saw him wear that hat, put that hat on.
Yeah,
you be clowning for a minute, then all of a sudden
Like,
be like, oh, wait,
Get serious.
I'm sorry, boss. My bad.
It's inspirational.
Yeah.
As somebody also writing and producing, it's inspirational to see somebody from Nickelodeon to boom, look at them now.
Well, let's talk about your boom, okay? Because you guys are also working on some other projects. Now, Alexandra, you're about to play Aaliyah.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Talk to us about that
The lifetime
project.
biopic. It's very exciting, I finished up Drumline, and I got a call saying, we would love for you to come in and play Aaliyah. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, all right, let's talk. When does it start? And they're like, a week.
What?
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. All right, yes. Yes.
How do you overcome? I mean, she was such a classic, iconic figure in music to all of us, right? Even a part of our generation. Yeah. How do you overcome the intimidation factor in that when taking on someone like that?
When it comes to being an actor and stepping away from my own personal self, it's all about how you portray the role. When I go into an audition, I'm not thinking about how the next girl is gonna do. I'm not thinking about what anyone wants. I'm thinking about how I see this role, and I have to be confident in that. And so when it came down to playing Aaliyah, I was like, I know her music. I've been a huge fan. I remember I remember when she blew up. I remember when she passed and how sad it was. I remember a whole bunch of stuff about her. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do my best. And it paid off.
And you actually do your own singing.
Yes, I
Wow.
sing and dance in the movie.
All right, well, speaking of singing, LaToya, everyone loves you and
you.
Destiny's Child.
Thank you so much.
But now you're working on your own solo music, right?
Yeah,
Tell us
yeah.
about this project.
I have an album coming out at the top of the year. It's called Until Then. And I have to shout out my fans because they've been so patient. It's been 5 years since I dropped an album. And I for people to really stick by your side and say, okay, we see you doing movies, we see you doing this and that, but we really want your music. Your song helped me get through this relationship. This song helped me get out of an abusive relationship. I got to get back to it. And you know, how dare I make them wait any longer? So I at least want to drop a single or something before the year
Thank
ends.
you. We've been waiting. Yes. Great. You definitely have to come back and tell us about that when it drops.
Absolutely, without a
Definitely.
doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you up to?
Myself, I'm extremely happy because I finished school, so I'm going into what else my passion is writing and producing. So I've just been working on my own projects, got my own team back there. So you know, loving it.
Finished
just
school with
loving
your degree?
Cinematic arts, majored in production, minored in screenwriting. Yeah.
So you're gonna be like Nick Cannon too, jumping in front.
I'm gonna take from Nick, but I'm gonna just try and be Jordan Calloway because I can do. That's the best I can do. So I mean, I'm gonna do that. But I definitely pull from the best, such as Nick Cannon.
There you go. Well, we thank you all so much for being here, and we can't wait to see the VH1 film Drumline, A New Beat.
I think I'm gonna take some drumsticks.
Oh, you just
with me.
Okay,
I think.
you work on that. Come on.
I'm like, I'm in a place.
Now check it out on VH1 Monday, October 27th at 9 p.m. Thanks again for being here, guys.
Thanks so much.
We'll be right back. You got drum. Oh.